The moment the announcement was made, the clock started ticking. 30 minutes. That was all it took for an entire stadium to sell out. Not the final, not the semifinals. A Wednesday night second-round match. And here's the detail that left tournament organizers speechless. The only player to achieve this level of ticket demand in Toronto over the last 2 decades was Serena Williams. Not Rafael Nadal. Not Roger Federer. Not Novak Djokovic. Just Serena. Eala, a 21-year-old from the Philippines, had just matched the greatest of all time. The Eala Effect had officially crossed borders, and Canada was not ready for what was about to hit it. When the National Bank Open announced that Eala would play her second-round match on Wednesday night, nobody expected what happened next. Within 30 minutes, every available seat was gone. Carl Hale, the tournament director for the NBO, Canada's biggest tennis tournament and one of the most prestigious on the WTA Tour, was stunned. "We've never seen a player ranked outside the top 5 have this type of effect," he said. "I think her fans were specifically waiting to see when she played." The demand was so intense that organizers were forced to make a decision that had never been made before in the history of the tournament. Eala's match was originally scheduled for the grandstand, a court with just 2,800 seats. But the ticket sales told a different story. "We can't put her on there because she probably sold upwards of 5,000 tickets," Hale told the Tennis Channel. So they moved her to center court, Sobeys Stadium, the main arena with a capacity of 12,500 seats. Even that wasn't enough to accommodate all the fans who wanted to see her. A Tennis Canada spokesperson later revealed that approximately 3,100 tickets were sold for the session after Friday night's schedule announcement alone. By Sunday, every ticket was gone. It was a level of demand that tournament organizers had never seen from a player outside the top 5. And it was a sign that the Eala Effect had reached a level that nobody could have predicted. "We've never done this before in the history of the tournament," Hale said. "To understand why Toronto sold out in 30 minutes, you have to go back to the beginning. The Eala Effect started as a whisper and grew into a roar." American tennis star turned podcaster Andy Roddick has called it Eala Mania. On his podcast, he said, "Eala Mania is fun. When you have watch parties in arenas around your country for a 4th-round match, I'm in." The early seeds of that fandom came when Eala reached the semifinals of the Miami Open in 2025, beating out big names, including 2 top 5 players. From there, the crowds only got bigger, extending even to the Grand Slams. At the U.S. Open in New York, an energized crowd gave her first-round match the feel of a more consequential clash. Eala came from behind to win, marking the first time a player from the Philippines won a Grand Slam match. Then at Wimbledon in London, the crowd roared when she upset defending champion Iga Swiatek in the 3rd round. "It is incredible to have my countrymen cheering me on, knowing that we are all in this together," Eala said in the post-match interview. The Eala Effect had become a global phenomenon, and Toronto was about to experience it firsthand. "All the tournament directors are talking about it. Everybody in the industry is talking about it," said Hale. The WTA Tour is a grueling season of more than 50 tournaments across dozens of countries, spanning multiple continents. And with every appearance, Eala's fans seem to find her. The overwhelming demand for Eala's matches in Toronto was driven by one of the world's largest Filipino diasporas. According to the 2021 Canadian census, there are more than 250,000 people of Filipino descent living in and around the Greater Toronto area. They had been waiting for this moment. Jason Maglante, the Senior Director of Ticket Sales and Services for Tennis Canada, a Torontonian of Filipino descent, watched the demand build in real time. "Speaking to my family and friends in the community, people started asking me about her. Is she coming? Can I know a little bit more about her?" he said. And these are people who don't even follow tennis. The excitement had been building for months. When the tournament announced on Friday that Eala would play in Toronto, Maglante's phone exploded with messages from friends and family. "We're pretty proud of anything that comes out of our country in the Philippines," he said. "The only thing I know of with this kind of hype among Filipinos in the sports realm would be the boxer Manny Pacquiao." The tournament organizers went all out to welcome the Filipino community. They reached out to Filipino community groups and the consulate. They added traditional Filipino dishes to the food offerings around Sobeys Stadium. "We've never done this before in the history of the tournament," said Hale. "It was a homecoming of epic proportions, a celebration of Filipino pride that transformed Toronto into Alex Eala country. The organizers also made a last-minute decision to have her play on the main court after considering the magnitude of the situation. Eala's Toronto debut was not just about the fans. It was about the tennis. She arrived in Canada fresh off the biggest win of her career, a stunning 4-6, 6-4, 6-0 victory over world number 3 Jessica Pegula in the DC Open final. The victory propelled her to a career-high ranking of world number 20, the highest ever achieved by a Filipino player. But there was no time to celebrate. She was scheduled to play on Wednesday night against American Alicia Parks, the very same player who had handed her a stinging 0-6, 6-3, 6-2 defeat at the Australian Open earlier this year. For Eala, it was the latest chapter in a revenge tour that had become the defining narrative of her season. She had already avenged losses to her last 6 opponents who had previously beaten her, including Jessica Pegula, Naomi Osaka, Alina Svitolina, Leylah Fernandez, Zheng Qinwen, and Iga Swiatek. And she hoped to keep that streak running. I don't have a specific round in the US Open that I say, oh, Kalang and Kong Abu Tenido. The way I approach tournaments, match by match, round by round, Eala had said. That mentality had served her well in Washington, and she was determined to apply the same approach to Toronto. Parks, for her part, was aware of the challenge. She had experienced Eala's crowd support in Melbourne. It was very difficult, Parks said after the Australian Open match. I was expecting it, but I also wasn't expecting it. She definitely has a good crowd. But Parks also had confidence in her ability to handle hostile environments. It's a little bit of extra pressure, she admitted. But I'm ready for it. It definitely wasn't the worst. I don't know what my record is with crowds that are against me, but it definitely puts a fire under me. I would say I'm good when crowds are against me. The stage was set for a dramatic rematch in front of a sold-out crowd of 10,000. As the ticket sales numbers began to circulate, tennis analysts started making comparisons that seemed almost unbelievable. According to multiple reliable sources, the only player to achieve this level of ticket demand in Toronto over the last 2 decades was Serena Williams. Not Rafael Nadal. Not Roger Federer. Not Novak Djokovic. Just Serena. The comparison to Serena Williams, the 23-time Grand Slam champion and arguably the greatest player in tennis history, was staggering. Serena was a global icon, a cultural phenomenon, a player who transcended the sport. Eala, at 21 years old, was now being mentioned in the same breath. The sellout was proof that the Eala Effect had reached a level that few players, male or female, had ever achieved. Eala had become more than a tennis player. She had become a movement. The tournament director for the DC Open had already seen this phenomenon. Mark Ein revealed that ticket sales for Eala's matches had risen by at least 80%, if not more. He added, honestly, I think it's more. When you look at the amazing players here and how many great stars there are, it says something about Alex's following. The Eala Effect had become a global movement that was transforming the economics of tennis. And Toronto was just the latest example. As if the singles sellout wasn't enough, Eala's presence in Toronto came with an added bonus. She was also scheduled to play doubles with tennis legend Venus Williams, a reunion of their Bad Homburg partnership from June. The prospect of seeing the 21-year-old Filipina alongside the 46-year-old American legend was another draw for fans. We know our fans will be incredibly excited to see Venus and Alexandra team up in doubles, tournament director Carl Hale said. Venus is a legend of the sport, while Alexandra's popularity continues to soar, as does her level on court. It's going to be a special moment when the two step on a Sobeys Stadium for the first time as a partnership. Eala and Williams had reached the quarterfinals together in Bad Homburg in June. They were supposed to team up at the DC Open as well, but Eala decided to prioritize singles, a decision that paid off with her historic title. I have so much respect for Venus, Eala said in her pre-tournament press conference in Washington. I am so grateful for every opportunity that I have to be around her, to learn from her, to hit with her. The doubles partnership added another layer of excitement to an already electric atmosphere. The Toronto tournament was not just about Eala's singles match. It was about the entire Eala experience. The Eala Effect wasn't just about ticket sales. It was about the economic impact of a single player. The demand for Eala's matches had sent ticket prices through the roof. The resale market was booming, with fans scrambling to get their hands on any available seat. The tournament organizers, who had never seen anything like this, were forced to make unprecedented accommodations to meet the overwhelming demand. But the impact extended beyond the stadium. Restaurants and hotels near Sobe Stadium were fully booked. The Filipino community had turned the tournament into a cultural celebration, with watch parties, flag waving, and chants that echoed throughout the venue. It's nice to see that the Filipino community is really showing up and they're enjoying tennis, Eala said. Hopefully it will help grow the sport as well and, in the end, give them something, a new experience and a joyful experience. The Eala Effect had become an economic engine, driving tourism, hospitality, and local business. And it was only going to grow. Eala's popularity, which continues to grow day by day, has now impacted ticket sales at the Canadian Open. The 21-year-old's presence has managed to achieve something that even the famed trio of the Big Three could not in their heydays. It was a testament to the power of a single athlete to transform an entire tournament. 30 minutes. That's all it took for 10,000 seats to vanish. Thousands of Filipino fans packed Sobe Stadium, waving Philippine flags, chanting her name, turning Toronto into Alex Eala country. The mania had arrived. The Eala Effect had reached a level that nobody could have predicted. To all my supporters, thank you guys. Especially the Filipino community. Here in DC and back home, wherever you are in the world. I really feel all the love, Eala had said after her DC Open victory. Those words now applied to an entire nation. The children who grew up watching her, dreaming of becoming like her. The fans who saw in her a reflection of their own struggles and triumphs. The nation that rallied behind her, united by a shared dream. Eala's presence in Toronto was more than just a tennis match. It was a celebration of Filipino identity, a testament to the power of representation, and a reminder that a girl from Quezon City, who grew up training on painted-over basketball courts, could stand alongside the best in the world. The final whistle had not yet blown on her Toronto campaign, but the victory had already been won. The tickets were sold, the stadium was full, and the world was watching. This was not the end. It was the beginning of something far greater. Toronto had been stunned by Alex Eala mania, and the world was watching to see what she would do next.